Hey y'all, it's Joefer here, the cranky old gay guy. Whew. And welcome to another episode of The Cranky Old Gay Guy Gives Advice to you, the viewer. Okay, I've got a couple questions from viewers today. And let's start off with a question from Roscoe. Roscoe asks, is it safe to have oral sex? Well, let me give you a little background here. Roscoe is new to being gay. Doesn't really give his age, but I'm guessing he's kind of young. And he wants to know about HIV transmission through oral sex. Yes, it's safe, Roscoe, in certain situations, and it can be riskier in other situations. For example, the risk is very low when you are the one receiving, unless you have open cuts, wounds, or sores on your junk. Perhaps if you are, they're pretty, you should be able to see them. They can be micro cuts, that's possible too. If you are uncircumcised, you want to pull that sheath back and check under there to make sure everything's good. But if you are receiving, you're far less likely to get HIV than if you were if you were giving it, so you're receiving it in your mouth. But if you are the one that is being serviced, then the risk is pretty low. If you are the one who is giving, so you would be receiving the member in here, it's riskier because you might have small cuts, sores, etc. in your mouth that you don't know about. There are ways to lessen that risk. One being, don't brush your teeth just before you're having or give oral sex to somebody. That's one. Another would be, don't give oral sex if you have a sore throat, or you just had dental work, or you have another STI in your mouth. Maybe you have something going on in your throat that maybe you know about, maybe you don't know about. If you're unsure, then you probably shouldn't be giving oral to somebody, because you could be passing something along, or you could be receiving something from them that you don't want. Another preventive measure would be, don't let your partner, trying to use some YouTube safe words, express his life force into your mouth. Take it out beforehand and just finish it off with your hands. Those are some ways to make it less risky. Another one would be on PrEP. Now, being new to the scene, you might not know what PrEP is. I would think it's been, if you watch any like the drag race shows or anything, they always have commercials telling you what it is. So I would think you'd know a little bit, perhaps, maybe not, depending on where you're at. It's a pre-exposure prophylactic, which is a type of HIV medication, but it's two medications in one. One of them starts with E. I don't remember the actual full scientific name of it, but it's 2 in 1, so it's 1 pill a day. And this is if you're getting the generic Truvada format or Truvada itself. You take one every day. It takes, I think, 5 to 7 days for it to build up in your system to where you will reach the best chance of not picking anything up. I believe it's 98 point something or 99% effective. So you've just lessened your risk from here, but having nothing, to way, way down here if you're on PrEP. So that's something to consider. Also, is your partner on PrEP? Something that happens with PrEP is if someone does have HIV and they are on medication. So let's step aside from PrEP for a moment and go to actual HIV medications, which in the past were PrEP mixed with some other stuff. Now it's something else, I believe. Feel free to correct me. I am not an expert on HIV, not at all. I just know what I read and what I research and what I've heard in demonstrations and on TV and that kind of thing, and what my doctor has told me. But I haven't had a serious HIV discussion with the doctor in 10 or 15 years. I think the last one, serious, that's back when you were testing and you had to wait for the results and it was always anxious and all that. I did have a HIV discussion when I went on PrEP, and that was probably, whenever it became available, maybe 6, 7, 8 years ago. It was available before that, but I hadn't been on it. And that had a lot to do with insurance as well, because my insurance didn't cover it until I reached my deductible, which was like $3,800. And then it was name brand. You couldn't get generic then. Since it's went generic, more insurance companies are not covering it. But it was going to cost me, once I reached that deductible and I used up the Gilead card, who you could get a card and they would like give you $4,200 on it or something, which is about 4 months worth of product. And then I find out that the insurance company won't honor that as my copay. I still have to pay an additional $3,800 before they would even kick in, and then they would only cover like 50% of the cost. It was going to cost me at the time $800 a month if I wanted to take PrEP. So I'd gone off of it at that time. Since then, I've changed insurances, and now it's generic. So even generic form is like $400 a month, but insurance will cover that, or most of it. So that's what PrEP is. If you are with a partner who has HIV, are they on medication? If they are on medication, then they can have the medication work on their body to the point where they are non-detectable. And if they are undetectable, then they cannot pass the virus on to someone else. And that's what the t-shirts and signs say. They say U equals U. It means undetectable means, is it U? I think it's U equals U. But anyway, it means you can't pass it on. I even have a t-shirt that says that. But undetectable means undetectable. I mean, maybe it means unpassable. Anyway, back to the story. Yes, you can have oral sex, practice it, enjoy it, receive it, whatever you're into. Talk to your medical provider if you want to discuss PrEP, if you don't know what that is. If you don't have a medical provider that you trust, you can also go through your county services, the health services. They usually, I don't know how big a town you are, what city you're near or anything like that. I'm in Portland, and the county is very up on HIV. And yeah, I mean, if you need PrEP, you can get it through the county as well. There's also like Cascade AIDS Project here in Portland, and HRC is a nationwide thing that they're tied into, but I don't think the funding is the same. But the local Cascade AIDS Project here can also set you up to get PrEP medication or refer you so you can get it. There's also clinics that service vulnerable populations such as gays and lesbians, transgender people, people with addictions, or just looked down upon by society. And those organizations can also usually hook you up with medication. So to answer your question, is it safe to have oral sex, or will I risk getting HIV? Well, you're always going to risk something. It's not HIV, it could be gonorrhea, it could be syphilis, it could be whatever. The chances are really low orally. If you want to get out there and really enjoy it and work it and not worry about it, I would say talk to somebody, a medical professional, and see if you can get PrEP, because that's going to be a whole bunch of concern lifted from your brain. Okay, I am going to move on to the next question, but first I'm going to adjust my light. I don't know if it's the glare from the light that's making me not see anything, or if it's set on the wrong tone. Let's just see. No, that's the right tone. It's just extra bright. Maybe you can turn it down a little bit. Just a little bit. Okay. Now, what I'm wearing today, these are, it's called a union suit or a onesie. And I had suggestions for tighty whities, underwear, standard underwear, jeans and t-shirt, long underwear. I did look for my long underwear, and all I have are thermals, which are the sheer kind that are just the skin tight, kind of stretchy material. They don't have the actual little waffle design like long underwear. I just don't seem to have those anymore because I never wore them. I rarely wear my thermals unless it's super, super cold outside or I'm going to be out working in the yard or something. Okay, this one is from Rafe. This is a more intimate social interaction kind of question. So let's take it away. This is from Rafe, and Rafe doesn't say where he's from. Hey guys, next time you send questions, let me know what city or state or region of the country you're from, or which country you're from, because that might dictate how I respond. Just maybe. Rafe, what's the best way to tell your date that you don't want to go out again? Oh, this one is easy. Be honest and say, I don't want to go out with you again. I know, that sounds kind of blunt, but I would rather be upfront with them than lead them on. Now, that doesn't mean you have to be rude. If someone says, I'd really like to see you again, that's when you get to say, no, I don't think so. You don't have to do it that way, but you could say, yeah, I had a really fun time too, but I really don't see this going in the romantic direction that I want it to go in. Or if they're all romantic all over you, you can say, yeah, I know that my profile said that I'm looking for a relationship, but we had fun together, but I just don't see it leading there for me. So I don't think you're the right person that I want to pursue this with. Well, that kind of sounds negative, doesn't it? You're not the right person. Just say, yeah, I had a really good time, but I don't think I wish to pursue this type of relationship right now. And if they say that's not what you said in your ad, but you say, just tell them, say, I was being polite. I mean, I don't want to pursue this kind of relationship with you. Now, if they get pissed at you, fine, let them get pissed. If they make a scene when you say you don't want to go out with them again, guess what? You just dodged a bullet, because that means they're going to be over the top dramatic, and you don't really need that in your life. At least I don't need that in my life. If someone spazzed out when I said I don't want to sleep with you again, or I don't want to go out with you again, or yeah, I'm not really into that, or really into what you're into, let's say, and they got all freaky on me, it would be like, that's just the way it is. And there's a good chance that, we would never see each other again, which would be fine. So keep in mind that when you're out on a date, regardless of how the date's going, you are in charge of what you want and what happens to you. You do not have to go along with everything that your date wants. You don't have to agree to everything. You don't have to say, oh, I'll call you or I'll text you. Because if you're not going to call them and you don't plan on texting him, don't tell them that, because that's called ghosting, and that's not cool either. If you like them and you had a good time with whatever it is you were doing, be that an activity or be that in the bedroom, just say, hey, I really had a good time. I can really see us becoming good friends. I would like to see you again, but in a friend context. And if they don't want to go for that, fine, cut them loose. If they say, that was really hot or whatever, maybe they don't want a relationship, but they want a friend with benefits. Well, if you enjoyed yourself to the point that you would be willing to do that, say, yeah, hit me up sometime. Okay? If you have dated in a hookup sense, maybe it was just a grinder meeting, you could say, if this is the case, just say, and they want to see you again, just say, nah, we weren't really sexually compatible. And if they say, well, I can change, or I do this and this and this, if you're not into it, just say, yeah, no, I'm just not getting the right vibe here. The energy's wrong. That's a common thing guys say. It's like, oh, I love your energy. Well, that's great. But if you didn't love their energy, it's an awkward situation. So if it's not working for you, don't pursue it. Lastly, you could say, depending on how the date went and what you talked about, you could say, I think our political differences would cause nothing but strain in our relationship. So I would rather not pursue it further. Now, please notice I didn't say what kind of political belief system or political differences you have. It might be that one's a Democrat, one's a Republican, or it could be that one is libertarian, one's a Republican, or whatever. Or maybe someone says, my religion is Wicca, and your religion maybe thinks Wicca is evil. So you could say, I could never do that. Or, hey, I think it's really cool that you're so into Satan, but that's just not my thing, so I can't see this thing working out. And leave it at that. And if this person is mature, they're going to say, that's cool. I didn't want to go out with, a Jesus lover anyway or something. Or, I would just try to convert you and blah, blah. Just leave it. Rafe, remember that it is your responsibility to be good to you and put you first when it comes to these kind of awkward situations. Now, don't put yourself first at the expense of someone else. But remember, you're in charge of you. So if you don't want to do something, including meeting up in the future, don't agree to. It's better to give them a letdown now than have them expecting something later that you don't follow through on, and then it just builds and builds and builds. And then there's a lot of tension if you ever run into that person again. Okay? So that is what we got today. That has been advice from Joefer, the cranky old gay guy. Please, please, please send in your advice questions via email at crankyoldgayguy@gmail.com. And I will do this again. If you appreciate what I'm doing here at the channel, you can reach out and say, hey, I appreciate you. Leave a comment saying that. If you'd like, tell your friends. And if you want, I'm also on buymeacoffee.com. You can click the link that's in the description here, and it's also in the credits. And just jump over and look at that site and see if it's anything that you want to do. If not, that's cool too. I just want to let you know that I appreciate you watching. I appreciate you letting me air my laundry. Get it? This is laundry now. Why? Because I'm pitting out. Woo. It's actually not raining outside today, so for some reason my body's really warm. And on that, I'm going to stand up here. Ugh. And something too with union suits. This would have been much better if it had been like a skin tight kind of thing, but that's just not the way it's designed. Right. That's all I got for you now. I want you to have a good day and take care, and I will see y'all tomorrow. Bye. Oh, one last thing. I do want to say thank you to a certain individual that left me a special message. I appreciate you. Yeah, I know you want to remain anonymous. That's why I'm not saying your name. But you know who you are. And that was a great photo, too. I appreciate that. All right. See you all tomorrow. Bye-bye.
His name is Joefer, the cranky old gay guy. Give him a topic and see where he goes. It's just like Joefer, the cranky old gay guy, to give you his opinion and put on a show. If you like what he does, it isn't a phase. If you like his channel, subscribe today. His name is Joefer, the cranky old gay guy. He's cranky and old, but we just don't know why. You can see Joefer, the cranky old gay guy, on his YouTube channel, The Cranky Old Gay Guy Show. Cranky Old Gay Guy at gmail.com. His name is Joefer, the cranky old gay guy, to give you his opinion and put on a show. If you like what he does, it isn't a phase. If you like his channel, subscribe today. His name is Joefer, the cranky old gay guy. He's cranky and old, but we just don't know why. You can see Joefer, the cranky old gay guy, on his YouTube channel, The Cranky Old Gay Guy. show. CrankyOKGuy@gmail.com. His name is Joefer, the cranky old gay guy. Give him a topic and see where he goes. It's just like Joefer, the cranky old gay guy, to give you his opinion and put on a show. If you like what he does,